Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you are doing well. We are here with a bit of a different video this week. We have a final thoughts video for you ahead of the game week 3 deadline. If you've been enjoying all the content on the channel, make sure you smash a huge thumbs up on the video because your support is greatly appreciated. The numbers this week have been fantastic between the live stream and the YouTube shorts. So please support us because we are building a really great community here over on Chasing Rank, and I'm very excited to share the journey with you all. So the main structure of this video today is I just want to talk through some main players, and as you can see on screen right now is Cole Palmer. Now this has been the biggest talking point of the week for fantasy owners. Lots and lots of people own Cole Palmer in their sides, and there's good reason why they own Cole Palmer. He's a 10.5 million asset with good opening fixtures who should be playing off the right or in the 10 for Chelsea, but he didn't return in game week 1, and obviously he was out with an injury in game week 2. So I'm very keen on your thoughts in the comments about what you're going to do with Cole Palmer, because the community is relatively split. There's a lot of people that are looking at holding. There are a lot of people that are looking at selling Cole Palmer. I am in the selling category at this point. I just think he's too much of an asset to have on the bench. I think there's some really good fixtures to target short term and medium term, and we're going to talk about where I'm going to go from Cole Palmer later in the video. But I'm very keen to get your thoughts in the comments, because Cole Palmer at 75% fitness, I don't want to take that on. If Chelsea are up by 3 goals, 70 minutes in, he's probably going to come off. The appeal of having Cole Palmer, if he plays, is about him being on the pitch for the whole game. I just don't think Chelsea are going to take the risk with him against Fulham. I think they're going to give him the full international break to get his body right. So then his next fixtures aren't even that good. Brentford away, you'd expect Chelsea to win, but are they going to win super well? Maybe they will, but we'll find out. Man United away, again, won't be an easy game for Chelsea. Then Brighton at home's not bad. He hauled big time in Brighton at home last year. And then he's got Liverpool, Forest, Sunderland, Spurs, Wolves, Burnley. It's a bit hit and miss. So I just think short term, we're better off not having Cole Palmer. Personally, I think you can redistribute that money a little bit better. And I'm going to talk about my strategy around what I'm going to do with Cole Palmer a little bit later in the video. So let's move on to player number 2, Bruno Fernandes. Now, similar to Cole Palmer, very highly spoken about this week, but for very different reasons. He missed his penalty against Fulham at the weekend. He didn't look fantastic. He managed to get the defensive contribution, so it pretty much just negated the penalty miss, so it's just like he did nothing. But what I like about Bruno Fernandes is there's a high ceiling there. He's involved in attacking potential. His XG's at 0.28, his XA's at 0.27, so for what that means is, 1 in every 4 games, he's likely to get a goal or an assist. So he's, expected goal involvement is, an involvement every second game. So I think at 9 million, we've spoken about Bruno a lot over our live streams, and I'm just very keen to get him on the pitch. I think if he can just get a good game against Burnley and get ticking, and maybe Amarim realises how good an asset Bruno is going forward, then he will utilise him going forward. I just think, his heat map, you can't see it on screen, but there is a lot of it is in the middle of the park. I was probably hopeful that they were going to release him a little bit more as the games go on and as they require him to go forward, but it hasn't happened yet. And I am looking at ways to get creative, which is going to involve our next player that we are going to talk about. So in the comments, please let me know, first of all, if you're selling Cole Palmer, if you're keeping Cole Palmer, but also if you're going to captain Bruno Fernandes. Look, if you're going to bring in a Man United asset this week, I'd be bringing in Cunha probably over Bruno Fernandes, just out of the... If you're going to do it for short-term purposes, I think you're better off chasing the goals instead of the assists and the DEFCON. But I still like Bruno Fernandes as an asset. Again, he's another guy like Salah who's always on the pitch. If there's a chance there late, he's going to do what he can to get on the end of it. So I'm still okay with going with Bruno Fernandes. But, if I had my chance for a one-off or a free hit, I'd be going with Cunha. The last player I want to talk about is Hugo Ekitike from Liverpool. Now, I am a Liverpool supporter. I've watched both of our games so far this season, and I am very happy with the performances of Hugo Ekitike. I'm very convinced of what I'm seeing. He looks like a very sharp number 9. His numbers aren't fantastic. His XG is 0.67, but he has scored 2 goals. His XA is 0.04, but he actually isn't the worst link-up player, and I think he will get assists on the pitch. My concern with him is minutes. Isak hasn't come in yet, and he still hasn't been fully fantastic for minutes. Anyway, Chiesa's coming on. He won't be a 90-minute man. Now, if Chiesa gets sold and we see Isak not come in, then Ekitike probably becomes a 90-minute man up front. But you're not buying him to be a 90-minute man. He doesn't need to be a 90-minute man in order to be an effective FPL asset. He's not going to have penalties while Salah's on the pitch anyway, but you're getting the focal point of the Liverpool attack in at 8.7 million. Yes, Arsenal, not the week you're targeting him. I would not be bringing in a Hugo Ekitike until we know what's going on with Alexander Isak, which means he could be a game week 4 transfer for your team. I am currently looking at a contingency plan around my team that all hinges on this Alexander Isak move, because that'll change a few moving parts in the Liverpool attack, and it would involve Ekitike potentially coming in at the back end of the international break, as long as I know that he's the number 9 and he's going to be fit and firing for the rest of the season. Arsenal this week, I'm happy to avoid that. I'm not bothered about what he does this week. He can look crap, he can score goals, doesn't bother me. But Burnley, Everton, Palace, Chelsea, Man United, Brentford, Aston Villa, I want a piece of the Liverpool attack. And I'm personally looking at a game week 7 wildcard. So I would be looking at having him for Burnley, Everton and Crystal Palace. I think that's a 3-game stretch that I can really attack the Liverpool attack before getting off them for Chelsea, Man United, Brentford, Aston Villa, Man City. And then you'd want to get back on them around game week 12 or 13, where it's Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton, Spurs, Wolves, Leeds. So you want to get off Liverpool and get back on Liverpool around that, Christmas time. And that's what my plan would be with a Hugo Ekitike. So let's transition into my final thoughts. So this is my side ahead of the game week 3 deadline. It's with Semenyo in for Palmer, which is why there's 3.3 million in the bank. I'm very, very keen on going in with this structure. The only move I might make from when I took this screenshot is I reckon I'll start Diouf over Richards. I'll just play the 0-0 game, hopefully, with Forest. But West Ham's defence looks absolutely shocking. They've conceded 8 goals in 2 games. I don't know. If they play a back 4, then Diouf isn't going to be very attacking, at least with Aston Villa. If Aston Villa keep a clean sheet, it probably means they win 1 or 2-0, and maybe I back Chris Richards for defensive contributions against Aston Villa, and Palace might sit in a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on which way I'm going to go on this one. Semenyo is coming in for me, though. I just think, Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle aren't the most amazing fixtures, but he is a 90-minute talismanic player that is going to get Justin Kluivert back on the pitch very, very soon as well. So you're going to have Evan Nilsson, you're going to have Tavernier, you're going to have Kluivert, you're going to have Semenyo, and he's just going to play all the time. There's good players around at Bournemouth as well. They are looking okay. Yes, they conceded 4 against Liverpool, but their defence is going to struggle a little bit with all the changes that we've spoken about for a very, very long time. But I'm very keen at getting Semenyo in. The reason I'm only making 1 transfer, I do have 2 to use this week, but I'm not going to use that second transfer because I just want to see what happens with the transfer window. I'm not convinced on going Chris Wood. I know short term their fixtures aren't actually that bad. It's West Ham, Arsenal, Burnley, Sunderland. There's a world where I might even just pull the trigger and go Chris Wood, because if I'm going to wildcard in 7, then I'm going to get rid of him anyway. So do you take West Ham, Burnley, Sunderland? Potentially I might do that. So Mark Guiu could become Chris Wood late on if I want to pivot and target that Nottingham Forest attack. Again, Hub have him predicted at 90 minutes. I don't see him getting 90. I see Igor Thiago coming in and getting some minutes off the bench at the expense of Chris Wood, especially if Nottingham Forest are winning. But that's my side at the moment. The reason I don't really want to make that move is more about the Mark Guiu move. The reason I kind of don't want to do it is, worst case scenario, next week I just go and get Mateta, who is a 90-minute man, against Sunderland, and then West Ham away. So I'm probably leaning more, if I'm going to make a 7.5 striker move, it's going to be for Mateta next week, because I want to play Tierney Reinders this week against Brighton away. I think Man City will bounce back. They struggled a bit against Spurs, but I think they will be okay. So that is where my side's at. Let me know your dilemmas in the comments below. I will get to them before the deadline, so please get in the comments. Let me know what you're considering. I'm happy to support you guys as much as I can. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you subscribe, because we are looking at building that subscriber base up and up and up. So far this week, the numbers are just going crazy, which is fantastic. It shows that you guys are engaging with the channel and showing that you are enjoying the content. So we are enjoying making the content for you guys as well. So please hit that subscription, because it really does support us to get you guys better content in return. So keep supporting us, and we'll keep supporting you in chasing those ranks, and we'll see you guys very, very soon for another video.